Hey everyone, Ronan Segal, your accordion teacher here. Over the last week, I received 3 emails from my students asking similar questions. The emails were a little bit different. One student was asking, I don't think the students would mind me sharing the questions and answers with you. I'll keep the students anonymous. One student was saying if it's okay to use a mirror as she's learning the Stradella bass system. And sort of how long that's okay for. Another student had some trouble memorizing the Stradella bass system on an 80 bass accordion. And another student was having trouble with fingering on the left hand. And so I made videos to all these students, but I thought I would share with you the commonality between all 3 of these scenarios and some exercises that have worked for me with learning the left hand of the accordion. So again, this is for beginner students, but even if you're an intermediate student, this advice might apply to you as well. So all 3 questions have to do with confidence and being okay with making mistakes. We're learning something new, and oftentimes it's just like riding a bicycle with training wheels. There comes a point where we need to get rid of the training wheels. And sure, we have to have some technique before we're able to do that. And that's why these visual aids are there. But eventually we have to let go. And we might fall. We might stumble a little bit. So here are the exercises that I recommended to these students and that I do as well when I learn something new. So to play in front of a mirror or to put tape down on the accordion to say this is an F, this is an A, is okay to do. I did this for a very long time to make sure I was pressing the right buttons. This is a C, this is a D, this is how I go up and down. But to step away from that, to step away from the mirror, my exercise, my recommendation is to put your hand into the strap, find your C, and take it out. And then put it back in, find your C with a 4th finger, maybe looking the first few times into the mirror and over here, and taking it out. Eventually looking away from the mirror, putting your hand in, finding the C, taking it out. Maybe pressing it, saying, I say C every time. There it is. Put it in, take it out. Over and over. And maybe that's today's practice session if you're a beginner. Once you're able to get that, feeling that C, how far do I go in? That's when you start pressing the chord, C major. Take it out, put it back in, C major. Again, I'm going the real basic fundamentals. You don't have to look at a mirror eventually. You don't have to do this. You're going to look, C major, there it is. Take your hand out. Now, one of the students was also learning Howls Moving Castle. The 3 chords, this actually goes to how do you memorize the Stradella bass system? You don't. My suggestion is to work with a song you want to learn. In this case, it was Howls Moving Castle. It could be Mary Had a Little Lamb or Hallelujah. And you're going to play the first 2 or 3 chords of the song. Howls Moving Castle has a C minor, a D major, and a G minor. That's all you're going to work with. Ignore the rest of the Stradella bass system. You don't care what's down here or over here or the circle of fifths. You find your C minor. And again, there are lessons on my site, on YouTube, on how this Stradella bass system works. C minor. Put your hand in, play it. Take your hand out. Put your hand back in. C minor. I have to feel around a bit. And again, you might make mistakes. Resist the urge to look at the mirror or look at the sheet music to say C minor. 3 chords, C, D, and G. Easy. Here comes the next step. C minor, I know it. Next, it's going to be a D major. So I'm going to break it down and say from a C to a D is that motion. I would either look or look in the mirror for that motion. The first few times you might do this or you might go to the wrong row. But again, it's important to say C to a D. C, D. Take your hand away. Put it back in. Find that row again. C, D, C, D. And again, say it out loud. That really helps. Again, we're not memorizing the entire Stradella bass system. All we're concentrating on are the 2 or 3 chords in the song we're working on. And again, I have an exercise on accordionlove.com, which is making large bass jumps, and this is really the foundation. It's working slowly to increase the distance between our chords. So, Howls Moving Castle, memorizing, stepping away from the mirror, C minor to D major to G minor. There's that other small motion, that small movement that needs to be practiced. And that's all your practice for the next day or two is C minor, D major to G minor. And if you make a mistake, that's okay. Look, double check that you're on that right row, double check that you're doing the minor with the correct fingering, but really that's what the practice is. My recommendation for 15 minutes of practice is the song you're working on, work on that major, minor, those transitions from those chords. If you're working on a more complicated song, maybe it's an E minor to an F major. Again, it's going back and forth. Take your hand out and put it back in. You could be doing this when watching TV or reading a book. The idea is for it to happen naturally, right? Doesn't have to have sound. Just for your fingers to understand that motion. And then taking it further, the same thing applies with a right hand. Again, Howls Moving Castle sounds like this. That's all I'm gonna practice today. Trying to memorize it. You can look at the sheet music, you could do your playback exercises, but it's... right? There it is. Maybe it's just that triad. That arpeggio. I got another email this week about someone saying that they like to, should I just practice rigidly or noodle around? My recommendation always is to noodle around. This, I had the desire to go, right, it's those notes, but, or, I think noodling around brings so much invention to music. So that's what I would do with Howls Moving Castle, and eventually, after a week, I would put both hands together. Right, just that for a day. Maybe just that. And that's how we get the confidence to play music. Look at the sheet music, do playback exercises, use the mirror, use those training wheels to give you the confidence to not use those tools, right? I hope this helps. Let me know if you have any questions, and whatever stage you're at, there's always these little exercises to get you to the next point. Thank you. I hope you're staying safe. Enjoy.